Now I know the video is out earlier than expected, a day earlier, but if you look back on my community post, I did state that for the new chapter review of Katekyo Hitman REBORN, I was going to do it on a Thursday because I will be at work on Friday. And while I'm on that, the following chapter, chapter 97, will be published on Monday. Monday the 20th, I believe. Yeah, the 20th. Monday the 20th, because I will be at work from the 21st to the 23rd. And I think I did state in my Tomo-chan is a Girl episode 11 reaction/review video that the Tomo-chan video will be pushed to next week Friday. Okay, so I have to switch around for like this upcoming week, but I will be back on schedule the following week by the end of March going into early April for both of these series. Okay, so to start off with by the end of chapter 95, we have basically, you can say basically the conclusion of the first match for the half rings of the Ring of Sun. Okay, Ryohei versus Lusaria, and in this chapter you see the aftermath, right? So at the end of chapter 95, we had where Ryohei used maximum canning. He used it for the final time, the third time, and it left devastating damage to Lusaria's knee, his metal knee, okay? And he had a metal kneecap. He was basically, he was feeling a little too confident in that, thinking nobody can strike that. But as we clearly saw, Ryohei not only destroyed it, but he destroyed the muscles and the skin of Lusaria's leg. Okay? And in this chapter, as you open up chapter 96, it's glaringly obvious in your face because the first page that you see, right, is Lusaria's leg. He falls down and you see his leg. You actually see the muscle. Okay, even though manga is black and white, it's clearly the muscle, and I definitely know the anime did censor that because it is gruesome. It is gruesome. And so he lost. Okay, and we have now Ryohei, who's the last one standing in the ring. He's going to Lusaria and telling him, you lost, give me the ring. And Lusaria is backing up, and he's like, no, I can still fight, even though I can still work with one leg. And you can tell he's clearly panicking because it's just like, okay, you lost. You should have either, just accept the loss, or in some cases, you're angry, you're a bad sport. But there was fear, okay? And before anything can really happen, okay, all you see is Lusaria's back just explode, like blood starts spurting out from the panel, and you're like, bro, did they put a bomb on him? Like, what's going on? So, come to find out, Gola Mosca, which is this big, he has a mask and everything. He's the one that shot, I guess in this case, bullets into Lusaria's back, okay, taking him out. And as Reborn, he stated, saying, like, I'm going to read the panel, he's like, erasing the weak, one of the reasons why Davaria is the strongest team of all. Lusaria was scared of that. That was why he was anxious to continue. So we all know that Davaria is known for executing any of their tasks, any of their missions. It doesn't matter how hard it is, how difficult it is. They see to it to the very end. That means anything can go. And in this case, this is just one of many missions, okay? They are the assassination group that gets the job done. So for them, failure is not an option. Failure means you were weak. So you're no longer needed. Everybody witnessed, and mind you, Kyoko was there. Kyoko and Hana was there as well. So we have the innocent civilians witnessing all of this. And I'm surprised that Kyoko did not shriek in horror, because obviously you saw this dude just got shot multiple times in the back. They did pick him up and everything. And the Cervello announced that the winner of the match is Ryohei. So the Golem Mosca gave Ryohei, threw the ring towards him. He threw the half ring towards Ryohei, and surprisingly, Ryohei is fine. But I'm going to guess it's the properties of the sun, okay, that, you know, healed his arms. I just threw it, but ooh, spoiler, my bad. But then again, they say who the sun is. So yeah, the one that guards from all damage and everything. So they're the ones who how you say, they have to be basically the shield. Okay, so they take all the damage and they have to be in tip-top form to be able to tank it and then throw it right back out. Okay, so he looks completely fine. Tsuna obviously is shocked by seeing how the Varia treats their own members, but at the same time knowing vaguely of who they are and what they're made of. For us, the audience, possibly some of you were shocked, but like those of you who have reread and everything, it probably is no longer shocking to you, but still nonetheless it's just horrific to see that, like, to be in this type of group, in this whole organization, failure means death. Essentially, failure does mean death. So the match is done. Tsuna got the first ring of 7. Okay, they won. His side won. The Varia lost. So it's right now the tally is 1-0. And Kyoko is running up to Tsuna and she's asking him, you know, what's the whole ordeal? Tsuna is very conflicted on how to tell her what's really going on. Then we have where Yamamoto and Gokudera, like, Ryohei is telling her, oh, it was a sumo match. It's a different type of sumo match. Only Hana is the only one that says, bro, this don't make no sense. This is highly suspicious. And everything just turns out fine despite the horrifying ending for Lasaria. Okay. Then we have where Tsuna's dad hands a sleeping Lambo to Tsuna and he tells him, you know, I'm sorry, but after this match I won't be back, so good luck to you. And then he's gone and Tsuna's just like, bro, I have so many questions to ask you. You're giving me a sleeping young kid. Before any of that, they did announce after this match, after the end of it, the Cervello did announce the second match has to happen basically the next day is for the lightning ring. So you all know who's the lightning ring is. Levi versus Lambo. Now, I know all of you who are new to the series, whether new to the anime and new to the manga, how can Lambo face against this guy who was coming after him, his target? Okay, how can Lambo, a 5-year-old who couldn't even kill Reborn when he was first introduced into the series? Remember, when he was first introduced, he was still with the Bovino family. And they sent him on the task to assassinate Reborn. And he failed at every single attempt. Okay, Reborn is a hitman. Now you're telling us, the audience, that this 5-year-old is going to face against an assassin for half of a ring to complete the set, right? So Tsuna is very worried about this whole deal, as he should. Okay, everybody else is just, while they're worried, they're thinking everything is going to be fine. But Tsuna has every right to think about, because not only is he basically the leader of all of this, to be leader, at the same time, Lambo is the youngest of all the guardians. He's a baby, if you call it. He has no fighting skills whatsoever. All he does is make a mess, make noise, be a kid. Okay, a younger kid, if you will. So when he goes home and he's like, you know, I'm worrying about this, Reborn says, you know, your training has not finished yet. So at least we know for Tsuna, despite the Varia coming to Japan earlier than expected, we at least know that their training has not stopped. So it looks like they're going to keep training after every match, okay, to keep Tsuna, you know, prepared. So while he's at home and after, you know, taking a shower and everything, then he goes downstairs, and while he's worrying about Lambo in this whole situation, he meets 10-year Lambo, 15-year-old Lambo. He came from the future back to the present day or the past, and he's like, you know, Lambo has, you know, bad sleeping habits, and sometimes he shoots himself with the 10-year bazooka, and the funny thing about this is, I would say, keep in mind, he said something, yeah, keep in mind, he did say at least a few things. He said that in his time, he doesn't remember anything about the ring scramble, okay? And that makes you think, okay, if he doesn't remember, and he only remembers because of the note that Imitsu gave to his 5-year-old self, and when he came into the present time, he read the note knowing that he's up next to go fight, right? There was this very pivotal message that he said that actually ties in with the next arc, and I'm going to read it because I was like, the second time I started to read it, third time I started to realize, I'm like, it never truly hit me until now. So the whole time Tsuna and Lambo is talking, Tsuna's thinking, okay, instead of 5-year-old Lambo is going into fight, why don't you, 15-year-old, who's obviously more mature, you have 10 years under your belt now, you're around our age, you be stronger, faster, all of that stuff. Mind you, Mitsu gave him like 2, they look, you can't tell by the manga, but by the anime, it looked like these horns have been here for a while, because they have like mold and stuff on it, dust, dirt on it. They look pretty old, and he gave them to him, okay? But Lambo told Tsuna that even if I were to fight in the match and I die, Lambo in this time will live. But if he dies, then I die. I don't exist. This goes into further saying where Lambo, like again, he says he has no memory of the scramble. And then he says, maybe I come from a world where in 10 years later, where there was no scramble battle for the rings. Tsuna is shocked by this, and he's asking, what are you saying? It's something called a parallel world, and they say the future can change. Okay, if the child version of me is killed tomorrow, then 10 years later me won't appear in this world ever again. Hint the words parallel worlds. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Okay, so like I stated, Lambo saying if he goes into the match tomorrow, his 5-year-old goes, obviously he doesn't exist. But even if you were to kill him, the 10-year version self, it won't affect. But that doesn't mean that every Lambo won't cease to exist. They will, but just this version of Lambo wouldn't. Okay, but I found it because it's just like I'm guessing this is foreshadowing. This is foreshadowing. Okay, they literally dropped a big foreshadowing in this chapter 96, which I guess it just really glossed over my head until I finally read it again. I'm like, oh, okay. So even though he said all of that, he's not going to participate in the fight. And Tsuna's just like, why? Lambo's like, yo, I don't like to fight. And it's totally valid. It's totally valid. I don't wrong him because you're facing against assassins. You're facing against people who are experts. And we clearly saw what happened to one of their members when they lost. So even if we were to lose, who's to say we won't end up like another Lusaria? So now it goes to the next day, the day of the match. And it was a few hours prior. So Tsuna, Reborn, and Basil were training by the cliffside again. It was raining though. And perfect weather, right? Lightning. And Tsuna can't focus on training because, when he gets hit with the depth penetration bullet, if he isn't in the state of regret and he gets shot, that means he will die, okay? I know most people, by the time they reach up to this chapter, they kind of forgot that, but it's still important. So Reborn called off the training, and of course you're kind of confused because it's just like, usually he would just keep pushing it. So now, later on in the day, more likely 12 midnight, everybody arrives at the school, okay? And it's still raining. And while they're there, they see the Cervello, and before they see the Cervello, they were talking about this match, it's not looking good in Lambo's favor. You know, he's a little kid. What much can he really do? And if anything bad happens, they're willing to jump in. Then the Cervello interjects and says that if anybody goes into this fight to intervene, not only the person who is fighting will be disqualified, but the person who jumped in, who intervened into the fight, will also be disqualified, and their rings will be given to the other side. So in other words, as it was from the beginning, as they stated from the beginning of this entire scramble, this is literally a fight to the death. So that means that if Lambo goes into this fight and he dies, again, 10-year version of this current timeline of Lambo won't exist. And it's basically damn if Tsuna do, damn if Tsuna don't, because if he does not intervene, Lambo has about a 100% chance of dying. If he does, they still will lose and they can still get killed. Okay? And so it's really a hard, Tsuna's stuck between a hard place, a rock and a hard place, because he can't protect Lambo. He can't. You would have thought it was easy with the first match, but now you face him with a kid versus an adult, which obviously is completely lopsided. Okay, it's completely one-sided for Lysaria's win, a landslide. So before the chapter ends, the Cervello shows where the next match is going to be. It's obviously in the school, but how the arena for the lightning ring match will be. And they point to the roof, and then you see basically 4 pillars with lightning coming out of them. And it's like a ring, just like Lysaria versus Ryohei's match. But again, like I said, there's pillars, and it's meant to conduct lightning. The lightning is striking up, and then it's connecting with everything. So it's just like, we're gonna be fighting with lightning in a cage, arena. Possibly we're gonna get shocked to death. Jesus Christ. We're gonna get struck by lightning to death if we, don't finish this match in time. And I think anybody will be worried about Lambo. Like, if it was anybody else in Tsuna's group, you're worried, but not too much. But Lambo, 5-year-old Lambo, his 15-year-old self doesn't want to go into the fight. But a 5-year-old is supposed to. A 5-year-old, right? So it's kind of it's a bad situation right now for Tsuna's group right now. And we don't know how this. Well, if you read it already or you watched the anime, you know how it ends. But for those who don't give no spoilers. But it sucks for Lambo. This whole situation sucks, and it's really not in his favor. So guys, do tell me in the comment section below on how you felt about chapter 96. Those who realized that foreshadowing in the chapter, did you notice that like the few times you read it, or did you notice it immediately like after you finished the entire series, you realized this foreshadowing led to other events eventually that was touched upon? If not, what do you think is going to happen in later events in the series? Okay, the links are in the description box, so you guys can go check that out. And I'm Kimi-chan of Anime Legends. I will see you guys later. Bye!